Hi there and welcome again to my podcast blog. It's Willie Knight here. I've got a special guest with me today. My son is just having a sleep on my shoulder. He's 7 weeks old and he doesn't want to sleep in his bassinet today, so he'll be joining us. Basically today I wanted to talk about purpose, about the importance of purpose and also the ease of purpose. It amazed me today to be able to sit down and I know that this is my purpose, and here I am looking after this beautiful little boy, and all it takes me is 15-20 minutes out of my day to sit down and complete the things that I know that I need to do for the day, which is to share a little bit of where I'm at and what I'm learning. I think the thing about purpose is that everything that is not without purpose. All things are created with purpose, and it's that purpose that gives all things function, that gives them life, that gives them a reason to be. If you look at this on a very basic level, you look at the cells and the organs in your body, they all have purpose and function. And what's more is that the greater body cannot function properly until each element, each component, each organ fulfills its function properly and efficiently. And everything that has a function and a purpose fulfills its purpose with a great degree of ease. It's not difficult for cells to do what they do. It is not difficult for animals to do what they do. They don't struggle to exist or to live or to fulfill their purpose. And it is intended that it should be the same for us. Purpose is not supposed to be difficult. It's not supposed to be some huge mystery. It's not supposed to be something that seems impossible. I know for me, for a long time, I've struggled with purpose. What is it that I'm here to do? What is it that I really want to do? But what I think we actually find is that purpose is staring us in the face. It's right in front of our noses, and it's very, very simple. It's what do you love to do that you are naturally inclined to excel at doing. And I've always found that in the spiritual arena, if you like, whether that's discussing spiritual matters with spiritual people or in a church setting or whatever that was, I always found that I would thrive in that environment, and I would always have valuable things to share, even from quite a young age. People would comment that they felt that I had a degree of wisdom beyond my years in that setting, and so it should be no great surprise to me that this is what I find myself gravitating towards doing. And I think it's true for all of us. We all have something that we love to do, that we thrive on, and that we naturally find very easy to do. And the reason that we find it hard to discover that, to do that, is because we're hiding it from ourselves. In a lot of cases, we actually push purpose away because we feel that we don't believe that, or we don't deserve that degree of fulfillment, that degree of happiness, that degree of purpose and abundance. And so we push it away, and we try to focus on other things, or we run from it in one form or another. And there's nothing actually wrong with that, because that's part of the process of experiencing what we're not meant to do, so that we can have the full experience of what we are supposed to do. Experiencing the absence of our purpose, the absence of our abundance, the absence of our flow, so that we can fully experience it when we finally choose to embrace that. And again, it's not a hard thing to do. It's actually the easiest thing in the world. What is hard is living without purpose, living away from purpose, and that's ultimately the cause of all of our hardship, because we resist our purpose and we focus our energies into things that we were not purposed to do, and these will naturally be things that we will struggle to do because we're not meant to do them. You could think of it as the universe steering us away from these things that we're not supposed to do, that we weren't intended to do, that aren't in alignment with our deeper purpose as a being. The universe is essentially trying to gently or not so gently steer us away from these things and steer us towards the things that we are really intended to do. I don't know about any of you, but for me, I've had many jobs that I've really hated. It's been a very unpleasant experience to go to work. I found them incredibly tiring, incredibly difficult. There was no enjoyment of those jobs at all. And slowly, I started to realize that maybe the universe was trying to tell me something. One of the jobs that I enjoyed the least was I worked in a yards at a sheep slaughter plant, basically chasing the sheep up to be slaughtered and making sure they all go up in order and all these sorts of things. And a yards is a very unusual environment for a sheep. They get scared. They're away from the green pastures that they've grown up on and always known, and there's noise and there's tension in the air and all these kind of things, and they can become quite resistant. And I would notice these sheep, in a funny sort of a way, their purpose being there was to walk up the ramp and to be processed, and they would quite often resist this purpose. And eventually I started to realize that this was a metaphor for the way that I resist my purpose, and the way that so many of us do exactly the same thing, and we resist and we fight. And the whole thing, it was a picture to me that the reason that I would find that job difficult and unpleasant is largely because it's so far out of alignment with what I was intended to do. And yet at the same time, even those things do form a part of our purpose, because we learn lessons there that guide us towards what we are intended to do. And again, as I touched on earlier, also having the experience of the absence of our purpose allows us to experience the fullness of realizing our purpose. I think you'll find, and certainly my experience has been, that when you exist outside of purpose, you will have to devote an immense amount of time and energy into whatever you choose to do that isn't your purpose. You'll find that you're having to work long hours, it's taking all of your energy, you're unhappy, you're unbalanced, you're not the kind of person that you want to be relationally or as a parent or whatever that may be. You'll find that really you're deeply dissatisfied and dysfunctional. And that's just like a cell in your body attempting to do something that it was not designed to do. It can't do it very well. So, you imagine, your lungs trying to pump blood instead of your heart. I don't think they would do a very good job of that, and very quickly your body would get out of balance and become very, very sick. So even in such a simple and crude way, you can see the extreme importance of function and purpose. When you live inside of your function and your purpose, life becomes very, very easy, because it takes little or no effort to do whatever you were made to do, whatever you came here to do. And the same is true of everything. As I said earlier, nature, animals, plants, they don't struggle to do the things that they were made to do. It's only when you take nature, or take everything that exists, and force it to do things that it wasn't ever meant to do, that you begin to experience dis-ease, disharmony, and dysfunction. Because you're forcing things to be out of alignment, away from purpose, away from what they were designed to do. And so what I'm learning, and my encouragement to you, is to meditate on what comes easily to you. What do you thrive on? You see, purpose is not supposed to be hard. It's not supposed to be some big mystery. In fact, it's the easiest thing in the world. The universe has laid it out very clearly for us. You will find that invariably there is something or a series of things that you just love to do, that you thrive on, and it's better than anything else that you could imagine. The feeling and the satisfaction that you will get from living in purpose will outshine anything else that you could possibly do, any thrill, any pleasure that you could possibly have. And you probably know on some level what that is, what you really want to do. And you'll also find that it will be very, very easy for you to thrive at doing that in one way or another. Possibly it's something that you've had a lot of comments about in the past. People come in and say, wow, you're really great at this, or acknowledge that you have a particular skill or a talent in that area. And again, approach this from the angle that purpose is not hard to discover. We make it hard to discover, and that's part of our journey, and that's okay. But purpose is not a difficult thing to discover, and when you start to operate in purpose, you'll find that it takes very little time, very little energy, very little effort to walk in your purpose and to fulfill your purpose. In fact, for me, it's most of the time it's 20 minutes a day. That's it. That's all it takes, and it's effortless. It's easy. If I sit down here to do one of these recordings, I don't have to know what I'm going to say before I sit down. I sit down and whatever I need to say comes to me. And that, I believe, is the ease of walking in purpose. There's no need for great effort. Great effort is an exercise in the absence of who you really are, because who you really are is effortless. Effortless because you are one with the creative energy of the universe, and in that state there can't be any effort. There's nothing to struggle against, and the only thing that we can struggle against is ourself, and ourself as we experience it, the I that is separate from anything else, is an illusion. An illusion that serves us because this illusion, which is who we are not, allows us to experience who we really are. But our journey, now that we have all experienced who we are not, is to remember who we really are so that we can experience it fully. And in doing so, there is a deeper, a greater joy, and a recognition of the remembrance of self. We can never ever be truly separated from our true nature, but we have simply created this illusion so that we can have that experience. And for each of us, we're all at different levels along that journey, but we all have different purposes to fulfill. Some came here to be these amazing motocross riders, or tattoo artists, or speakers, or authors, or teachers, or politicians, or all kind of things. We've all come here to have this plethora of different experiences that the universe is wanting to have, and all of these are good and wonderful. But ultimately, as we begin to find our purpose, we begin to find our function, and then we begin to function. And as we function, we're more loving, we're more open, we're more giving. You'll find you have more time, more energy, and life becomes extremely easy. There's no requirement for a great deal of effort. There's no requirement to spend hours and hours going to work. All of these things are things that we have experienced so that we can move past them. They are things to be grown out of, and purpose is to be grown into. So I'll leave you with that. The thought for today is, where there is no way, you are the way. Where there is no light, you are the light. Where there is confusion, you are the answer. Where there is pain, it is so that your healing power might be revealed. Where there is confusion and misunderstanding, it is so that your truth might be revealed. Where there is loss, it is that your presence might be revealed. And where there is challenge, it is so that your strength might be revealed. Go well, and we'll see you next time.